Hello everyone, welcome back. This is going to be the continuation of the previous lecture. Okay, now we are actually going to be using the quadratic formula, which we just basically brushed on in the previous lecture. Okay, but first of all, just a slight revision so that we're all on the same page. So this is actually what a quadratic equation looks like. So this is a quadratic equation. Again, this is not the quadratic formula. This is the quadratic formula. Okay, a quadratic formula is the way, it is the formula that you use to find the solutions of a quadratic equation. Okay, we're going to have again two solutions because this is a quadratic equation, and this is the biggest mistake that people make is that they don't know the difference between a quadratic formula and the quadratic equation. Okay, so now I hope you actually know that, and we're actually going to let me repeat this, okay, because this is actually important. This is the quadratic equation and this is the quadratic formula. Okay, equation, formula, equation, formula. Okay, so that's I think that is more than enough. So let's actually go on to the more the portions that we can actually start using the quadratic formula. Okay, so in this case you might notice that we have some b's, some a's, and some c's in this case. Okay, so what do they actually where do the actual numbers come? Okay, so that is what we're trying to solve. When we have the quadratic equation in the form which it already is in the uppercase, okay, 2x squared plus 7x plus 3, then we can say that the 2 is going to be the a, and the 7 is going to be the b, and the c is going to be the 3. Again, we are doing this because the coefficient of the number which is right besides the x squared is going to be our a, and the coefficient right besides the b is going to be 7. The coefficient with the x raised to power 0 is going to be equal to 3. So this is the main thing, a, b's, and c's. So 2, 7, and 3. Now we can start using the equation x is equal to negative b plus minus 100 b squared negative 4ac divided by 2a. We're going to put these numbers into this equation. Okay, so b's go into the location where the b's are, and the a's goes where all of the a's are, and henceforth the c's go where the c should be. Okay, so we substitute all of the numbers. We have the 7's, the b's, and the c's in place, and now we are in a position to actually solve the equation, to simplify it, and to produce an actual simplified number which we can use to solve the equation and to get a precise answer. Okay, so again we're trying to simplify. 2 times 2 is going to be equal to 4, so we are left with a 4 on that side, and the insides are going to be simplified as well. Okay, 7 squared negative 4 times 2 times 3, so this is we can take that out. Okay, so that's simplified one by one. 7 squared is equal to 49. We can do that. 2 times 3 is going to be equal to 6, so we're left with 4 times 6. And 4 times 6, actually forgot that. Okay, it's 24. Okay, so we don't actually, me spending time trying to do the calculations right now is just going to be, it's going to be time consuming. So I already did this, and so we have this on the screen right now. So 24 is going to be right over there. You can always pause the video if I'm going too fast with the calculations. Okay, you can always check them out. But I actually always have the steps in place. We're 49 subtracted with 24. That is going to be equal to 25. Okay, so we put all of that simplified answer over inside of the bracket, and this is the point where I call the separation movement. Okay, so you need to separate the two answers into x1 and x2. Until now we had the quadratic formula is actually a combined formula, okay, which we're now going to separate, and this is how we actually separate. Okay, again, look at this equation that we have, negative 7 plus minus under root 25 divided by 4. We can separate into x1, which just has the positive number, and the x2, which just has the negative number right beside the square root. Okay, so that is where we divided the whole thing. Negative 7 added to under root 25 and divided by 4, and the x2, which has the negative 7 negative square root of 25 with divided by 4. Okay, so again we're going to be simplifying it. So square root of 25 on both cases is just going to be equal to 5. Okay, so we do that. Okay, so let's actually try to solve the left hand side first. the x1. So negative 7 added to 5, which gives us negative 2. Okay, so we put the negative 2 right where it should be. On the right hand side, negative 7 added to negative 5 is just equal to negative 12. So we put that on the right hand side. We are left with that, negative 12 divided by 4. On to our x1. Negative 2 divided by 4, we can cancel the 4 out by saying that 2 times 2 is equal to 4, right? So so 2 times 1 is equal to 2, and 2 times 2 is equal to 4. So we write 1 and 2 in the respective places. Again, it's going to be negative 1 by 2 because the negative was already in place, and a negative number added, multiplied or divided by a positive number is just equal to a negative number. So that is why we are just left with negative 1 by 2. And on the right hand side, similarly, we can cancel the 4s and the 4 and the 12 out, because 4 times 1 is equal to 4 and 4 times 3 is equal to 12. So we can do that, and we are left with negative 3. Again, why we have negative? Because a positive number subtracted, multiplied or divided with a negative number is just equal to a negative number, a negative 3 in this case. Okay, so we are now in a position to say that we have solved the equation. So the equation that we were given in the start, we have solved it using the quadratic formula, and we have achieved two answers, x1 and x2. And you can actually see that both of these are different. Okay, these are different answers, and the like negative 1 by 2 is different from negative 3, right? So that is because if you actually go back and look at the discriminant, it is most probably going to be what I actually previously said, because I actually forgot what I actually said. So it's going to be something which is going to be similar to what I previously said in the videos. Okay, so thank you for watching, and I really hope you learned something.